Welcome back to TKL Talks. It's your girl TKL. I'm right back with you. I'm still with these two amazing husbands. And man, before the break, they were dropping all kinds of bars. So we're going to jump right back into this conversation. Now, Terell, I'm going to get back to you, brother. Now, you mentioned about you were dealing with what you wanted before you knew what you needed. Now, some men feel like they need a wife that belongs in the kitchen. What would you say to that man who thinks that you can't have this empowered woman, you can't be out here doing this and that, you belong in the kitchen? What would you say to that type of man?
I would say find your woman that wants to be in the kitchen.
Mm.
I mean, everybody's different. Like everybody has their own personal desires. And if you want a woman with long hair, don't marry somebody with short hair.
Got you.
It's not beneficial to any party involved if you have a desire, if you have a mindset, a mind frame of my wife, quote unquote, belongs in the kitchen or belongs like dealing with our children or stuff like that. And if you're a man that's going to hold your family down financially and support them in that way, that's perfectly fine. But just find you someone who will match that for you. Because if you find you a woman and she's a powerhouse, then you're only going to hold her back. And God does not play by his daughters.
That's so true. And I say this is that sometimes women evolve, right? So like she may not have been that ambitious woman initially, but we constantly are growing and changing. So what would you say to that man whose wife now is this powerhouse who maybe was the housewife initially? That was what she was, going after. Ron Jacob, what would you say to that man who doesn't support this wife that's now evolving into this powerhouse?
Okay, so let's really for me, let's really pay attention to the words that we're saying because we don't want to make and men do this. We don't want to insinuate that a woman that's a cook in the house isn't a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because if she's at home and she's a homemaker,
Yes.
a homemaker is what it makes the home. It makes you be able to go out and get the job and do the work and do this. But listen, my wife was a homemaker and she was a money maker at the same time. We do everything. She cleans and cook. I cook and clean.
Yeah.
So she's not like we can't minimize a homemaker. That's one.
Not at all.
Right? And there's husbands that are homemakers and wives that are homemakers. But I just think this. I like what Terrell said. If you want a wife with short hair, then don't marry a wife with long hair. Simple as that. But what I am saying is, I will say this: the proverbial woman in the Bible talks about the woman that goes out and she brings substance to the home.
Yeah.
So when you understand that a woman can bring substance and it's more than just cooking, man.
Yeah.
It's more than just the kitchen. There's a big kitchen called the industry that she might be way more savvier than you. And she might know how to maneuver in that industry. So you got this woman stuck in the kitchen.
Right.
When this woman got a degree in marketing.
Come on.
And you not letting her shine because of your insecurity and just because you're a manager at McDonald's.
Right.
Yeah, you making good money. But listen, you could be making better money and better moves if you allow her to flow in who she is. You want her to allow you to flow in who you are.
Right.
Then you allow her to flow in who she is. And what you said about evolution, right? People change every few years, 7 years. Your hair changes, your style might change, and things change, right? So maybe through this time when she was more of a homemaker, there was a time my wife was always degreed, but there was a time in our marital and relationship career that my wife didn't work and I worked the whole time.
Right.
Right? But she was building and brewing and seasoning what she's walking in today. But I had to give her space for that. So my wife never was made to stay home or made to work. My wife chooses to stay home and she chooses to work. What that means is right now, my wife say, I'm done and I want to be home. Guess what? You got that.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
So
Yes. And this is so good. So this just brings me to just the support that you both bring to your families. You support what your wife's endeavors. You support if she wants to work, you support when she doesn't. And it reminds me of myself. There was a time where I was done with nursing. I'm a registered nurse by day. And for 9 months, I didn't work. And my husband allowed me that space. And that is what really just blessed me about him, is because he's like, you figure it out. You figure it out and I support you, you know? And he did that. And that's what brings me to, I believe both of y'all said this, how, you know, a wife is an incubator. You know, we receive it, we multiply it, and then we give it back. So when he was going through his go through, that's what I did. I held him down during that time. So I just love how you guys both talk about how you support your wives in their different seasons, and you don't put them in a box, you know, that you only belong in the kitchen, or we only belong in the workforce, whatever the case may be. But I do have another, you know, thought for you guys. So you both are powerful, powerful men. How do your wives support your dreams and your goals, Terell?
Quick funny story. Me and my wife are extremely competitive when it comes to gift giving.
Okay.
So there was a point in time where I would do like Uber and Lyft just to make a couple extra dollars because I like sneakers, and she doesn't like that I like sneakers because she knows that I'm going to pay for sneakers. So I do Uber and Lyft. I used to do Uber and Lyft sometimes to like make a couple dollars so I can get my own sneakers without having to ask permission. And what happened was, this was like maybe 3 days before Valentine's Day. I already had my gift all set up. I knew I was going to blow them out because I'm like that with it.
You just that dude. Okay,
I really am. I want to like make it too big of a deal, but I'm really good at this stuff.
Yes.
But what happened was, I went out to do Uber and Lyft, and I'm out. I usually go out all night, maybe 4 or 5 hours. When I came back in the house, I went in my basement, and my basement had a barber chair, clippers, trimmers, like all of the things for like a barber starter kit. Yeah. We had talked about me having an affinity for barbering, just for like the life-changing experience that it is to take somebody from looking one way to the next, and how important that always has been to me. Yeah. And she took my idea, my thought, she incubated it, intensified it, she put it back out. And then for Valentine's Day, it started me on my journey of becoming a barber that I am today.
Amazing.
So that's just a small snippet of like one of the things that she does.
That's incredible. So she heard you, didn't say a word to you about what she was going to do, but then went ahead and manifested that thing and produced.
I mean, she even literally put the barber chair together.
Wow. So, I love that. Talk about support. Now, Ron Jacob, tell me a little bit about how Michelle supports your goals.
I'd like to say something that was super dope, and he totally proved the point about how a woman, if you give her space to breathe, she will create a conversation. And that's what she did. Yes. She created that conversation. You give her seeds and she'll give you a meal.
That's right.
So for my wife, you're sitting in my support. Everything in here is what she has allowed for me to have space to create, because I believe that you have to make space so that you can have space to create space.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. So you're looking at it. This space here, my wife gave me room. She's not on my neck. She allowed me. Everything in here costs a lot of money.
Right.
So my wife understood the assignment and understood that this is something that I'm good at, but she gave me a space that now I can sit down here and I can create, and we can have moments like this. That's the support. So, you know, being present and being present. She don't have to know how to do it. She just has to know that there's something to be done. And if I'm leading, and if it's my turn to lead, that she's willing to support, follow, push, and pull. And it's the same for me in reverse.
I like
push,
that.
Follow,
pull. Right. When it's your turn to lead, I like that, because I've found in a lot of conversations where some men don't feel like a woman should lead in any setting. Crazy, right? So, Ron, you just said something powerful. You said there's times where things get rearranged, where Michelle does the leading and you do the following. I really need you to expound on that, but we're going to do that right after this break. So we'll be right back, y'all.
Don't miss out on the opportunity to be inspired, informed, and empowered. We are B3 Media TV.